paper written on it. We were the leading state in the early 80s as far as education reform, and this woman who worked at Lobby at the time, Jackie Dakota, wrote this great article about how much reform we did. We were the first with accountability, just a lot of great stuff we were able to pass. We got rid of the superintendent because it was so political, and with the exception of the superintendent who's still appointed, all that legislation was eventually watered down and destroyed. So no matter what you pass, my point is, no matter what you pass in K through 12 and all of those areas, whatever we seem to do within 5, 6, 7 years, it gets watered down and we start on some new path. So the whole area to me is, it gives me a headache.
All right, we've been visiting with Bernie Pinsonat, noted pollster, commentator, analyst here, Louisiana politics. Now joining us here on the airwaves, the publisher of Bayoubuzz.com, our ringside all-star Steve Sabludowsky. And Steve, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you, Jeff. And hey, Bernie, how are you?
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. Good morning. I had some technical difficulty. The webcast is now up on Bayoubuzz.com, on Google+, Facebook, and so people can go and look at it live, or go to turn on 990 AM, or go to WGSO.com. I did hear what Bernie was saying about the governor, and so Bernie, let me just ask you a question, if I might, and that is that you saying that the voters are satisfied with Governor Jindal, or are you saying that they don't like him as they would like him more if perhaps he lowered our taxes even more? I mean, I'm not quite sure exactly what you're saying there.
No, I'm saying related to one specific criticism by people who are probably correct technically on all the budget maneuvers he's constantly involved in, trying not to cut the budget any further. Fund swaps and all this stuff he does. There are a lot of people out there who are critical of him. There are a lot of people out there who are saying that he's going to leave the next governor with a deficit, and it's ad nauseum attacking him. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that Jindal's right. I'm saying for the average person out there, they do not pay a lot of attention to this. They pay a lot of attention to the budget process when Jindal has to cut $400, $500, $600, $700 million from higher ed and healthcare. But this technical jargon related to moving funds around, they really don't get into that, and they don't pay a lot of attention to it.
Yeah,
Jindal's
the average voter.
Popularity the average voter. Jindal's popularity, is now about 50-50. It was way down when he was really cutting a lot of money from the budget, and he was had to reduce the funding to the charity. And we ran a survey, and those tremendous cuts pushed his popularity down to 38. But since then, he hasn't had to make those huge cuts. And this year, he went out very early before the session and bragged about all the money he was giving back to higher ed and healthcare. You can argue that the money he gave them was the money that they should have been getting before anyway.
Right.
But as far as the public's concerned, he didn't make the big cuts, so his popularity is sort of stabilized. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's popular.
No, but the bleeding has stopped, huh, Bernie? I mean, the free fall has stopped.
That's all.
Steve Sabludowsky with us, Bernie Pinsonat. Our talk line, 504-556-9696. Also going to be talking about some new poll results, but let's squeeze in some calls, gentlemen. Our friend Reverend Wallace is with us. Hey, Rev, how are you? Good morning.
How you gentlemen doing?
All right, Rev.
Steve and Mr. Pence, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Yourself? Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Look, I've been following you for a while with a lot of the elections and stuff you do. Still do a good job. You're fair. You speak your mind, and I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have is that the Republican Party should have knew that from the very beginning that this was going to be the biggest race, not only in the state, but I think in this country. This race with Landrieu and Cassidy is going to be looked at in a lot of ways by a lot of political people. And the Obamacare, sir, is falling off the scene as being majorly a topic that people are sort of going that way with. And we see a lot of stuff is being focused not towards the Secretary of State, the Veteran Affairs, which fall on her, Monica Lewinsky, and we see other things, and we see, and so far as Mr. Jindal, I've never looked at him as a governor of the state. This man has never sat in that office for 6 hours to do anything that would benefit this state. Everything he did in office benefited him and the people that he's associated with, and he's always had an ambition to run for president. He'll never be. He's not intelligent enough. They showed that when he came about and Obama and looked like something real stupid. But I want to say to you is, what do you think that the Republican, and you got this other guy with the alligator deal, he ain't even in the race. But this is all the type of stuff that Mary Landrieu needed, and Mr. Pollster came out, and I think it's one of the greatest positions that this state since Mr. Bob Livingston was there. Mary Landrieu commanded a very good position, and as a chairman of that committee, I would think we would be just stupid to put somebody there that had no seniority, no credibility, that flipped-flop from being Republican, Democrat, even on the health care, Obamacare. He was for it and nice against it. So what would you suggest to anybody? What would you think would be the outcome? And I think the midterm elections are determine a lot about the Republican Party from the extremist side, that they're causing a lot of people that could possibly win the election because of what they stand for and what they're associated with.
All right, Rev. Let's get Bernie's thoughts on all that. Appreciate the call. That's Reverend Wallace. Bernie?
Well, as I said, Jindal has his supporters and detractors, and he's obviously one of the people that's not pleased with Jindal. The bottom line is that's what the polls show. He's pretty well split. Jindal is now looking at his next job. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care about Louisiana. One of the things he does happen to him is because he's involved in national politics. It causes a split here in Louisiana. The Democrats see him as spending more time looking at his next job, and everything he does is related to it. And Republicans still give him pretty good job approval, and they like the way he's reduced the size of government and all the other things Republicans like. So that's where Jindal is. The Republicans, this is a big election here in Louisiana. We will, as we move closer to that election, you'll see a lot of different interest groups spending money in the state. The Koch brothers have been spending money. Harry Reid's PAC has been spending money. Landrieu's on television running ads with Bollinger saying how wonderful she is.
Right.
But at the present time, her poll numbers are in the tank, and she's got to do a lot better to get.
Where is she right now in the state, Bernie? What are the latest numbers?
Well, her popularity, our job performance pretty well tracks where she's polling as far as how many people are voting for her. We had her at 41% last November. Now she's down to 36%, and her job performance, which used to be positive, is now negative. An interesting facet of this is as the president's popularity, and it's dropped. It's never been good, but it's dropped even more towards the negative, and so has Landrieu. Their popularity is pretty close now. They're tracking each other, so that's an interesting part of this whole dynamic, is that her support of Obama really has her tied to him, and of course, if you're trying to get reelected, that's not a good thing.
Now, Steve, that doesn't spell good news for Mary Landrieu, does it?
No, it does not. I mean, certainly, I'm sure that she would rather be in the 50s, and obviously the SMOR poll indicates that it's a 36-35% toss-up. I think within 0.6% difference. The point I think that Reverend was making, though, and this is something that I wrote last week. I wrote about this last week, and that is, despite what Bernie's poll says, and I mean, I don't dispute what the poll says and how the voters feel, and that is that, even though she's got, 18 years experience, and she's ahead of this really important committee, the Energy and Natural Resource Committee, that they want someone new. And I mean, that's really a profound statement, as far as I'm concerned. But what I hear is the Republican, especially the National Republican Party, the Senatorial Committee, saying, "Oh, well, this job, that position's not important," meaning the committee position is not that important. Well, I got to tell you, they're full of crap. Okay, that position is very important. Okay, and it would be very important whether or not, in terms of Louisiana, whether or not it was Mary Landrieu in that position, or Steve Scalise in that position, and so to downplay that position and say, well, it's no big deal, we're giving some away.
Right.
Think about it. I mean, just think about it. And this is not an endorsement of Landrieu. Okay, but like I said before on this program, that should since Vitter's running for governor, if Landrieu loses and now you have Cassidy who's winning, assuming there is a split in government and the Democrats still control the U.S. Senate, well, I mean, where's that going to leave? I mean, really, where's that going to leave us in the Senate? It's going to leave us basically with, at the end of 2 years.
Well, let me ask Bernie that very question, Steve, you bring up about that position. How do voters view that position of chairman of the Senate Energy Committee, Bernie?
Well, I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. If I would have asked, are you for term limits, and it may vary a little bit based on who represents them, and they may like them a lot. But whether seniority is not a big deal anymore. We talk about it a lot, and I agree with Steve. There are people in the business community that look upon that as something very important to them, especially if they have to do business in Washington. Having a senator or a congressman who's powerful on any committee is a big deal to them. But that doesn't go below them like it used to. We do not see that as the end all to have somebody who's very powerful in Washington. We may give them a break if they're our senator or our congressman, but if we had a vote in Louisiana, as we did on our state legislature, we have term limits. And if Louisiana had a vote on our congressmen and senators up there, I would be surprised if it wouldn't pass. So Steve is absolutely correct. If you go to Washington and you need big time help, the business community goes where the power is, but that really doesn't come down into the state, and the average voter understands the importance of it or doesn't care about it.
All right, hang on, gentlemen, because we have to take a brief time out. More with our special guest, Steve Sabludowsky, publisher of Bayoubuzz.com, Pollster analyst commentator, Bernie Pinsonat, right here on Ringside's WGSO. Jeff Crouere here, 504-556-9696, our talk line. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Corey Johnson again with Mark Dayfelice here at Pascal's Manali on Napoleon. Hey, Mark, you guys are obviously known for the original barbecue shrimp, but you've also got a bunch of other New Orleans favorites.
Got to try the combination pan roast. It's a blend of Louisiana oysters, shrimp, crab meat, seasoned and baked. Absolutely delicious.
That gumbo at Manali's is outstanding, too.
It's an age-old family recipe. Okra, shrimp, crab meat. Come try some yourself. We're open Monday through Saturday.
Isn't it time for Manali's again?
Got a stained roof? Did you know that algae stains are stealing life from your roof? Do you want a beautiful roof again while saving you thousands of dollars by adding years of life to your existing roof? Call Suburban Roofing at 504-861-ROOF and get a roof shampoo. Roof shampoo is an affordable, eco-friendly, non-bleach, low-pressure roof cleaning system that will beautify and add years of life to your roof. Roof shampoo is the premier roof cleaning system in the industry. It is low cost and the safest, most effective method utilized in 23 states. For more information, go to roofshampoo.com, or for a free roof shampoo estimate, call Suburban Roofing at 861-ROOF.
I'm personal injury attorney Greg DeLeo. Social media like Facebook is a fun way to share pictures and comments with your friends and family, but how that information is shared may shock you. If you've been injured in a car wreck, your injuries are very real, and you wouldn't think anything about the birthday party you went to last week. Maybe pictures from the party were posted on Facebook with you smiling and happy, maybe with a drink in your hand. But be careful what you post. Photos of your activities may be used to defeat your personal injury claim. Many insurance companies now seek evidence from your Facebook page as a routine step in their investigation. Pictures you thought were private. After all, you posted them on the internet, didn't you? And the internet has a long memory. With offices in New Orleans, I'm attorney Greg DeLeo, and this has been your Legal Minute. For more information, you can email me, visit my website, gregdeleo.com, that's D-I-L-E-O, or call me at 504-522-3456. That's 522-3456.
When he's not busy writing, he's busy reading. And he's speaking easy all the time to all of New Orleans. It's Ringside Politics with a Punch, and it's on the air right now. Give Jeff Crouere a call at 556-9696.
All right, Steve Sabludowsky with us, Bayoubuzz.com. Bernie Pinsonat is with us, pollster, commentator, analyst, talking about the Senate race, Bobby Jindal. Also want to get into the Vance McAllister story. It is breaking this morning that he hasn't ruled out running again, unbelievably. But that seems to be back on the table as a possibility. Gentlemen, before the end of this segment, and hopefully we can stay for one more segment, we've got our friend who's with us now, Paul from Kenner. Hey, Paul, how are you, sir? Good morning. Paul, are you with us? Paul from Kenner, are you there? Hey, let's see if we can get Paul back on. Steve, what do you make of the story about Vance McAllister not ruling out running again?
Actually, let me just respond to one of other things, please, and that is that no question that Mary Landrieu is important to people like Boise Bollinger and Canizaro, and less important to, say, other people who are not in the shipbuilding or major real estate, etc. That's a given. However, I do believe that seniority, whether it's David Vitter seniority or Mary Landrieu seniority, and especially power of a committee, I believe that's very important if you have a situation like a hurricane. I think that, we remember Katrina, and it was just a darn good thing, a really darn good thing, that we had at least some influence in the U.S. Senate at that particular time. It was a good thing, quite frankly, that we had David Vitter, to be able to deal with George Bush, because Mary Landrieu could not do that. Okay, and I doubt that David Vitter could deal with President Obama right now, whereas at least Mary Landrieu could. So I think that, I don't care who is in office, I think we should look very seriously at.
All right,
what happened to us in terms of getting jobs and everything else.
Let's get Bernie's response. Bernie?
Well, look, he's making an argument that, I'm not going to say they didn't argue with it. The problem is we're part of the Deep South, and whether you like it or not, probably after this election, there'll be so few Democrats, especially white Democrats left, it won't matter. And I don't think the White House and the Democratic Party's putting, we're still important to them, but they certainly are seeing that we don't vote for their president. We're not sending white Democrats to Washington, and who knows what'll be left. So we won't be abnormal. We'll be normal if we had 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans, which is what most states are now doing.
All right, hang on, gentlemen. Love to do another segment. Steve Sabludowsky with us, publisher of Bayoubuzz.com. Bernie Pinsonat with us of Southern Media and Opinion Research, 504-556-9696. To join us, Jeff Crouere here. It's Ringside on WGSO. Let's get a news update. We'll be right back.
WGSO 990 AM, New Orleans, Louisiana. 60 years of speaking easy, New Orleans style.
NBC News Radio, I'm Peter Alexander with the White House. 2 miners are confirmed dead at a coal mine collapse in West Virginia. Governor Earl Ray Tomblin says the 2 were killed last night at the Brody mine.
Hey, Steve, we're good to go for another segment?
Yeah, that's fine. One thing I want to let you know is that, again, let me know when the Beatles thing comes up. Give me a finger up, okay, because I'm going to turn off the sound right now Well, I'm going to turn it off when that thing comes up because I don't want to. I mean, we can't have that playing on a Google Hangout Live. Okay. So just put your finger up.
That's going to come on at 10:05, and it'll last. Well, it's only for like 20 seconds or so. But
right. Okay. Well, then what I'll do is I'll just be aware of it, and I'll turn the sound off before that. And okay. Good enough.
All right.
Red wine and dark chocolate has little or no health benefit. This is NBC News Radio. A major meltdown in Antarctica is making scientists say the vast glaciers of western Antarctica are rapidly melting and that the likely result is a rise in global sea level. Where is Casey Kasem? There's new concern about the radio legend's safety. He is 82, suffering from advanced Parkinson's disease, and has been in the middle of a feud between his wife, Jean, and his adult children. NBC's Tom Yamas.
Kasem is one of radio's most iconic voices. He now suffers from dementia and was checked out of his private care facility last Tuesday. Now his children are seeking answers from Kasem's current wife about where he might be.
Fire crews in Texas are still battling a wildfire that has blackened 4 square miles, destroying 100 homes in the panhandle town of Fritch. And your granddad's Alfa Romeo never looked so good, the quintessential Italian sports car, getting a $7 billion investment boost from parent company Fiat Chrysler as it makes a comeback in the USA. I'm Peter Alexander, NBC News Radio.
They say every healthy relationship should have a balance of predictability and spontaneity. In fact, it is that assurance of security that makes the spontaneous possible. Your relationship with your car should be a little like that too. With our new industry-leading unlimited mileage warranty, your certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz instills a sense of confidence. You drive away knowing that you can keep driving for up to 3 years and never have to worry about the miles. Add to that our new complimentary prepaid maintenance on select models, and your certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz becomes the ultimate carefree escape vehicle. Only during the Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales event, going on now through June 2nd, can you also take advantage of a 2-month payment credit on many models, plus 3 months of Sirius XM satellite radio. So hurry in today. It might just be the most predictable, spur-of-the-moment decision you've ever made.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Wall Street is back in the record books for another day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is at new highs, and the S&P 500 crossed over the 1900 level for the first time ever. Americans cut back sharply on spending last month, with April retail sales up a much weaker than expected 0.1%. March retail sales, though, were revised higher. DirecTV shares are advancing by 1%. The Wall Street Journal reports AT&T is closing in on its acquisition of DirecTV, valuing the satellite television provider at close to $50 billion. The deal could be announced within a couple of weeks. It is upfront week for the big television networks when they roll out new shows they'd like to sell to advertisers. According to the New York Times, NBC has 5 dramas and 7 comedies. Fox is trotting out 10 new series. Today, marketers will hear from ABC and ESPN. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 34 points, the Nasdaq gaining 8, the S&P up 4.5. I'm Ann Cates at MarketWatch.com.
From helping florists manage their first payroll, to checking sales projections for logistics companies, to showing garages how much they've been paid, to pursuing leads for multinationals, Sage Software helps businesses manage. Whether it's accounting, payroll, payments, ERP, or CRM, Sage gives you the control to look forward with confidence. Visit sageconfidence.com.
It'll be home to 942 bursts of laughter, a 16-pound blackened turkey dinner, and the loudest burp on record. It will see its fair share of broken windows, broken bones, and broken hearts. But first, you have to find it. Start your home search at Zillow.com or on our family of apps. You can view millions of photos, browse historical pricing data, and even sign up for alerts when new homes hit the market. Zillow. Find your way home.
All right, we are back. One more segment with our special guests. We'll take more of your phone calls, 504-556-9696. And Colonel Rob Maness is going to be joining us, candidate for U.S. Senate, and candidate who's just now jumped into the fray with his own advertising, and a big endorsement that he received from former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. We'll ask our two experts about that, and also get into this whole issue involving Vance McAllister and his interest again in possibly running for Congress. Joining us, Steve Sabludowsky, publisher of Bayoubuzz.com, and our friend Pollster analyst commentator Bernie Pinsonat. And gentlemen, how are you? Welcome back.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Bernie.
Hey, guys.
What do you make, Bernie, of Colonel Rob Maness, who we're going to be hearing from next, his endorsement from Sarah Palin? How big was that, if at all, for his campaign?
I don't, I hate to comment on stuff like that since I haven't polled it. It might help him. The bottom line is when you get to $2 or $3 million, then especially in a race like this where it's going to take $10, $12, $14 million, you've got to have money to tell people who's endorsing you. You've got to have money for radio ads. The last time I looked, the TV stations in New Orleans are pretty expensive, and I do polls for a living, and obviously, y'all know I've been doing this for a long time, and and when you're running for the United States Senate, if you don't have $2, $3, $4, $5 million, you're at a huge disadvantage. And I've never seen anyone make the runoff who had less than $1 million to spend in a Senate race. But realistically, if you're not at $3 or $4 million, when these two heavyweights is what they are, one's a Congress and one's an incumbent U.S. Senator, start really spending big dollars, and you don't have it, you fall by the wayside. It's not what I think, it's what happens.
Steve, your thoughts?
Bernie's right. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think that Rob Maness is a very nice guy. He's a very decent guy, it seems. I think that maybe she helps out in terms of the former governor, Palin. She may help out in terms of that particular base. He's at, 7% according to Bernie's poll. All in all, though, do I think that, it helps her with the other population? Absolutely not. I think that that Sarah Palin is a real negative, except for that particular base.
Bernie, if you could highlight the numbers for all the different candidates in your poll. You said Landrieu was at 36%?
Yeah, Congressman Cassidy was 35, and what is Hollis 2, and Maness, I think Steve's right. I don't have the poll in front of me, but about 7. That'll change, though. Very quickly when they start spending money. If Maness has $2 or $3 million to sustain a big TV buy, then he has a chance to move up. The Republicans are, the Republicans have an advantage in this state because we are so red-shifted. And if you're a Republican and you got a lot of money, then you're going to compete with Landrieu. And at the present time, if you're Mary Landrieu and 98% of the people know her, she's been a United States Senator for almost 18 years, finishing her 3rd term. And if you're at 36% and your negatives are upside down, close to 60% negative, that means they think you're doing a not so good or a poor job. So Mary, literally needs some help. Everybody knows her, and they're not giving her a good job performance rating, and not only 36% of the people are voting for her. So, that poll was taken last week. So whatever you want to say about it, it was then. It's not a picture of
today,
5-6 months from now.
Yeah.
So I can say that she's in serious trouble, facing a tough hill re-election battle because of the demographics in Louisiana, and that's that kind of sums it up.
504-556-9696. Gentlemen, our friend Paul from Kenner is with us. Hey, Paul, how are you? Good morning.
Oh, good morning, and gentlemen. One thing I hear Jeff, you saying no more Bush. Well, I say no more Landrieu. She's been in her 3 terms. We know what she stands for, and she's not for life. And a lot of her policies have been not that great for Louisiana, so I don't think she's going to win. And Mr. Manis is not afraid to come out and say he's 100% pro-life. I like a politician who's not afraid to speak up on the life issues. So anyway, I called, got motivated to call Jeff because you've talked about this legislator that instead of shaking hands, he kissed his aide. Well, it's like as if he's caught in bed with her, impregnated her or something. What is this? And the fact that he's going back and trying to run again, if that's not trying to put your family back together, and you're going for a job that and have done, and it pays well, isn't that pretty indicative that he's going to try and put his family back together?
Well, I mean, should he continue to be going back and forth between Washington and his district when he's got 5 kids and a wife, and he just embarrassed her and his kids by kissing a married aide right outside of his office? When that aide was the wife of the hold on. When that aide was a good friend of his, and he didn't even tell the husband of the aide, and the husband said that his whole Christian rhetoric was just phony and was just for the election. So don't you think he's got some soul searching to do and maybe got some higher priorities in politics? I mean, he didn't commit a crime.
With politics.
He didn't commit a crime, but I think he actually did something which was morally wrong, and I think he should focus on other things other than running for Congress. But I guess the voters will decide, because Bernie, he just announced that he might actually run again in the 5th Congressional District. So that was sort of a surprising note, because earlier he said he wasn't going to run. So where do you think things stand with Vance McAllister?
Well, I'm like anybody else. If you're not shocked by that announcement, nothing will shock you. But, as far as this particular congressman, the problem with his running for re-election, there's a little problem. Look, there are people who get elected because of rumors, innuendos, or even outright claims made against them, and they may admit transgressions and ask for forgiveness. But there's a little problem. He has a little different problem than most politicians. There's a video, and videos are extremely detrimental to you being reelected. No matter what you say, no matter what you claim your intentions are, when that video is run continuously and ad after ad, it tends to cause you serious problems of getting reelected. And the bottom line is, it's very hard to get reelected when there's a visual evidence called a tape showing you with someone that you shouldn't be with who works for you. So all of this stuff, I would seriously doubt he'll run, because let me say it again. Most times when there's a video, you don't get reelected, and you should go do something else, because that video normally, most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, kills your chances to get reelected.
Steve, your thoughts?
Well, basically what he said was, I'm going to keep my options open, and he said that supporters have told him that he decided too quickly in terms of not to run. So I don't know. Who knows what's going on in his mind now, and who knows what went in his mind at the time when he was kissing his friend's wife. So, but look, it makes for interesting politics.
All right, final.
I'd like to know how many of these people. Who are they? Was it 1,000? Was it 5?
It could have been the lady he kissed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She's encouraged me to run again. Her husband's on the other side of the street on this issue.
Right.
He's dead set against it.
Yeah, I think
anyway.
I feel sorry for the poor husband. All right, Bernie Pinsonat, thank you, my friend. Steve Sabludowsky, thank you. When we come back, Colonel Rob Maness is going to be joining us. We'll talk about his race for the U.S. Senate and delve into a lot of different issues with the U.S. Senate candidate, Colonel Rob Maness. Thanks.